How old are you when you start training?
I started training when I was 3 years old because my dad, he got me like with the academy and everything, so really little. I didn't have an option, just take to the academy and start training.
I think like at that time it was like very different, like because like we're basically like the same generation, and now you see like, a lot of little girls like joining the classes, which is really cool. But like before, like even for me, like as a kid, was like a little kid in the adult class, like hanging out with adults, and which was really good for us, I think, because like you grow up, you get mature fast, because you're hanging out with adults all the time. But like you don't have like real training partners. You're just learning and playing. And how was it? Like I think like it's different than me, because like for me it was like a little boy on the mat. I started much older than you, like I was 12, but I was still a kid, and then like I didn't have training partner. It was just like playing with adults. For you, how was it? Like very like playful, or was already like classes, especially because your dad was already a professor?
Yeah, it's like funny because it's like a mix, you know. Sometimes I think it's like good, and sometimes I think it's bad. When I was like 3, was just like my dad teaching me some positions, you know, and playing a lot. Like he'd put the movie on for me to watch, like Disney on the academy, and he'd be teaching class, and then I'd be like listening to him, like mount, pass the guard, you know. You think the kid isn't paying attention, but really they're like listening and like watching the class, you know. And then I go and like started to do the positions. So that was about to like 6 years old. Then he started to have like kids class. And like you said, like my generation, I was like the only girl, you know. And thankfully, like when you're that little, the girls and boys, they have like the same strength, you know. It doesn't have like a guy strength and girl strength. So it was okay. It was like just normal, like kids playing with kids, and sweep, pass the guard, armbar, mount, like the little things. But at the same time, like I see the girls, you know, like the little girls, they have like their own category, you know, the girls versus girls. All my tournaments, my first tournament was when I was 6, and I fought like boys, just boys until maybe 12 years old, 13 years old. And I see like, it's so cool to see like girls and girls fighting, you know, but at the same time, like I feel like maybe, not that we're tougher, you know, but you know, like a lot of girls, you lose to the boys too, and the boys lose to the girls, you know? So it's like, I feel like our generation, we went through like so many, like a little bit more mind things, and you know, and now it's like, it's so cool to see more girls, and they have the girls divisions and everything. But I think like, man, I just fought boys when I was little, you know? So I think it made me like tougher, you know? I think like always to be for boys,
When I see like, because like even for me, like in São Paulo, I used to go to the competitions, and I didn't have anybody in my division. I was pretty light for my age. And I remember like we would always try to find someone like maybe like older or bigger, and then my professor would be like, oh, like let's go, like this is the best fight that you can get here. And like was like a like you said, it was like a mental challenge all the time, because I knew the person was bigger and stronger. It's very intimidating when you're a kid. And I don't know, I think like now it's much more professional, it's nicer, like, and it's better. I think it's easier to convince the kids to go there and do the competition, because it's fair. But like I think we went through like a very hard like mental training at a young age, you know, because it was the only option that we had.
Like almost every tournament was like a super fight, you know?
That's how exactly how I felt.
And like I think the age that you start 12, like I remember when I was like 12, was exactly the same. Like, okay, you start to leave the kids class, you know, because you're almost like too big for the kids class, but you're too small for the adults class, you know. So I would do like both, you know, I do the kids class and then stay, because my dad's academy too, you know, you stay until go home, and then like you do the games on the adult class, and you're like do the positions, and also it's like that hard phase, you know, you're in the middle.
I think that's the hardest one. As a professor, like when I see this is the hardest one, when you're during that transition between being a kid and being a teenager, because like you're not strong enough for the adults class, and you're too mature for the kids class. So when you mix with somebody like 2 years younger than you, like they sound like they're silly in the class, and like you're too mature, you're really trying to learn the techniques. But like for me, like it's a real challenge, like because like I don't want to throw a little kid in the adults class and make them feel lost, because a lot of them they give up in that situation. And what I try to do is always to split the class as much as I can and give the right attention to the ones that are mature enough, and then at the same time like keep it playful for the ones that are younger. I think it's important to have like, especially now, to have like a good professor that understand that, like, especially because like I went through that. Because I think a lot of kids, they give up during that stage, that phase.
Yeah, that for me, that's one of the hardest parts too. Like when I teach seminars and everything, and I see like they ask me like, oh, they can have like kids, you know. Unless it's a kids seminar, you know, I try not to have like too young, you know, because like to be equal the positions I teach, you know, and to flow, I think it's like hard stage, you know.
Yeah, it's hard to partner them up, and it's hard for the adult to do the technique on the kid. It's very complicated. Like it's frustrating sometimes because you see that the kid's mature enough and they really want to be there and learn. But like it's just very difficult. What age you feel you decided to be a professional athlete? That you like you always have the option like I'll go to college, I will do this, or I'm gonna, I don't know, be a doctor, a lawyer, or like no, like I want to be a professional fighter. Like,
it was like 14 for sure. 14. Because it was like freshman year, you know, the first year of high school, and the teachers, they start to like not put pressure, but start to like guide your choices and what classes you want to take, you know, to prepare you for college. And so they start to like, okay, what classes you want to take for the next 4 years. And then I think like, okay, just physical education, you know, and just, you know, and just like sports things, and in high school, like I started to take it, like stay 3 months out of school because I was traveling like to the Europeans, and then you go and stay with my dad teaching seminars and start to learn. And so 14 was like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna go to college, and I'm gonna like focus on this. So I asked my teachers like, you know, hey, I can get out of class early to go like run, you know, on the stadium, you know, to lose weight for the world's no-gi, you know. So right, like high school was like when I started to really make the decision to be like professional. And like up until high school I did like volleyball, basketball, like other sports too. And the other sports, they're like seasons, you know. Jiu Jitsu is all year round, you know. So like I could do the other sports as long as I did like Jiu Jitsu training after, you know. So until like elementary school, I did lots of sports, but high school was like cheerleading. Okay, the cheerleading, like the games were at the same time jiu-jitsu. Okay, so like I start to cut out everything, you know. Then there's like, okay, I'm professional, professional.
But you think like through other people's eyes, you were like the weird girl that wants to do martial arts, or you were the cool girl that was traveling and winning competitions?
Yeah, I was like the cool girl. You know, like I had like friends with everyone, and like my friends, like they tried to like not pick fights, you know, but like my friends knew that they were my friend, you know.
Like, oh, don't mess with this girl,
you know, and they would get in fights, like know that I'd like be there to help them if anything, you know. I just got like one fight in school.
You're the security guard.
Yeah, and I was like, man, you guys are starting fights, you know. So it's like always cool. I always brought my medals for my teachers and the principal.
I felt like for me it was not the opposite, but like for me it was kind of I didn't have a lot of friends because I was so involved with jiu-jitsu. You know, like I was always, like you said, traveling. I was always like trying to do like the minimum that I had to do just to like spend more time like training and doing this kind of stuff, because I was already mature enough to like, I knew what I wanted. And I feel like when I like try to think about the memories that I have like about school, it's more like me like trying to do things as fast as I can so I could go train. You know, like it's not that I had friends, I had people that I liked, but like I didn't keep any of these friends. You know, like because like they were like just like I think that we never had like a strong relationship like I had in the academy. You know, and it's like
for sure.
But for me it was really good.
I think like the same, you know, like in the jiu-jitsu world, you know, it's like it's small but it's big, you know, it's big and small at the same time, you know.
And I think like you tend to attach yourself to people that have the same goals and have the same lifestyle as you. So when I used to go to school and I saw people like they're gonna party, or they're gonna go do this, or they're gonna like, they had like a different like different goals, different interests and mindset. For me, like it didn't fit, you know. Like they were nice people. I knew how to separate. I knew that I was the weird one, you know, the different one, you know. But like they were just regular teenagers.
Yeah.
But for me, like it never never like made sense to like attach myself so much, like, or get too close.
Yeah.
So I used to hang out with the people from the academy because these are the people that were traveling with me to competitions and were like really like pushing me to do my best.
Yeah.
Who you feel like was like very like inspiring for you, like a woman that was like, when I know that of course like we had way less when like years ago, like when you started, when I started, like it's crazy to think how women's jiu-jitsu grew like in like a short period of time.
Yeah.
Like now we see the athletes like are real athletes. I think like before you had like a full hand only, like you know. And who like when you were like you were there a little girl, and who were like you were like getting inspired by, like you were looking up to who, like?
Yeah, I think for sure like Kira, you know. Kira was like the first, Kira Grace was like the one that I saw like, okay, like girls can make a living, you know, like sponsorship and things like that, you know. Of course I was little, I didn't like have an idea how much, you know, like how much monthly, all these things, you know. But Kira was like the first that I saw like, okay, on the cover magazine, you know, had like sponsors, you know. The other girls like Bianca, Leca, Leticia, you know, like of course I liked them to watch them fighting and everything. Like, oh man, I trained like a lot of years with Leticia, and I saw her like how she pushed the training. It was fun for me, and she got me like to love to train and be like in a camp. But Kira was like what made me believe that like, okay, I can have sponsors too and live off of jiu-jitsu, you know. Because until then you think like, man, I just see my dad like with the academy, and I never wanted to have academy, you know. For me, I didn't want to like open academy or anything like that. I wanted to live off of jiu-jitsu, like sponsors and be on magazines, you know, like girl things, you know, be like doing the hair and all this stuff. So I think Kira was like the biggest one, and even to today I see like her doing the for Sport TV, you know, combat, like commentating, you know, and things like that, like to be involved with the sport even after like if we stop to compete, because you can't be a fighter forever.
Yeah, no, and I think like she's a very good example of like how much you can take advantage of the opportunities that you get with your exposure. Like she was a very good athlete, like she had like her prime time winning everything.
Yeah.
But the exposure that she got opened a lot of doors, and like she works in TV now in Brazil. And she has a family. It would be impossible for her to be competing now.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like this is like just a good example. Like of course, like we can like look up to many different people, but every time I see someone that like gets the opportunity that they get with the exposure and everything, they get these opportunities and then they start taking like different paths. Like I tell people all the time, you don't have to be just like a world champion, or you don't have to be just like a jiu-jitsu professor, or seminars are not the only option to make money. There's a lot of opportunities if you learn how to use the opportunities, because like I think it's all about raising your level to where people look up to you, and that, especially as a competitor, you're gonna go there, you're gonna like get exposure, and then you're gonna have a lot of doors opening for you, because that's what happens when you expose yourself like this. And then a lot of people, I think they waste these opportunities. And then they end up like with like nothing. Like we see that all the time in Brazil. Like I see a lot of people that are amazing, like multiple time world champions, and like they don't have anything besides like the achievement, the medals. You understand? It's sad for me when I see that, because like it's a waste of talent, you know? And I feel like it's important. Kira is a very good example of like how you can take the opportunity, you know, and like even if you're not, she is a professor now, she opened her academy, which is cool. But like working for like for the TV is like something completely different, you know, it's something that you're not expecting when you start training jiu-jitsu. It's something that happens along the way, you know. And I think it's really cool. It's the same thing, like I tell my students all the time, like we get a lot of people that come from different parts of the world like to train here, and then you start training, and then I feel like you need to understand how far you can get. You understand, like you come and then you're, let's say, 26 years old, blue belt. Even if you're not gonna be like a black belt world champion, or if like you're already older, because like people are starting younger every year, you still can work with Jiu Jitsu. If you work hard and you work for the opportunities, you still can work with Jiu Jitsu. Maybe like you're not gonna be the multiple time world champion because you're already a little older. It's not impossible.
Like
I don't think
10 titles on the black belt, or something. It's hard,
I don't think we can't like say it's impossible for anything. I think everything is possible. We have like many examples of people that start older and they were able to win, but it is definitely harder. But it's still like, I feel like they can work with Jiu Jitsu. There are so many opportunities, especially now how professional it's becoming.
And it's still like growing Jiu Jitsu, so it still has like so many opportunities to grow, like academy, or teaching on TV, or so many broadcasts and all these things.
You did that later, you went to Brazil to like. I feel like that's what people need to, they need to focus on, like taking the opportunities and being able to work, being able to communicate. It's important too.
And I think like Kira, she did everyone is their own person, like, and they, like my dad is, I can't say his age, but my dad is like competing until today, but I think like Kira, she did a good decision, like when to stop, like, and that's hard. That's like such a hard decision. It was the same for me, like when I made my transition, like, because I was winning, like,
especially when you're young, like I feel like,
like you're on your prime, and it's hard to stop when you're doing good, you don't want to stop, but you like you said, you try to make like the best decisions, like with the opportunities that you can, and I think like Kira, she retired like ADCC champion, and like she did good, like on her decisions, like, okay, now's a good time to stop and go to the interview, like commentating and everything like that, but not that you need to stop here or there, like some people, they like to keep competing, and everything like that.
That's exactly what I was talking about this with Ali, because every person will have a different opinion about this. I think like you can't just like say, this is the right time to stop. For me, the right time to stop was always when I was at the top, because I wanted people to remember me like winning. I was always like crazy competitive, like my brother was always crazy competitive too, and like that was the image that I wanted people to remember.
And Jiu Jitsu has a short memory, like they remember like just the last thing, they won't remember the whole like legacy, you know what I mean? So it's like, I understand,
and it's part of the culture too, because I feel like people, like, I think Brazilians are like this too, like Brazilians, Americans, like everything is so replaceable, so it's just like, like she is the young girl, pretty face, that's winning everything, that's really cool, and then someone else that's a little bit younger, it's also pretty, okay, this is the new one, let's replace the other one, like people, like, I think like when they see a quality, they're like, and they see someone else with the same quality, they just want to replace, you understand? They can't have two, you understand? They always try to replace, and I feel like this is like hard for athletes, like this is something that it hurts us a lot, because like it's like the social media thing, it's always replacing, it's always comparing, it's always doing everything. It's like a hard life, because like you expose yourself and then you put yourself in a situation where people are just commenting and like comparing you. But it's hard for me. It was like when I decided to stop competing, it was like the same thing. It was like people were like, oh, you're so young, why you're doing that? You can win more, you could be winning, like, like.
You can win more, but
but like, how about if, like, because like I'm focusing on something else, how about if I start losing? It's like, I don't know, every person is different, and every person that you ask will be a different opinion and a different, like, they will prove their point.
It's like, I think anything you do, you need to do like 100%, like your family 100%, your career, if that's your priority, 100%, Jiu-Jitsu 100%, MMA 100%, and that was the same thing, like I did the transition, and I think like, man, but I could still be like winning lots of things in jiu-jitsu, you know, but I won like the most titles I won, you know, like, and I thought like, okay, but now it's a good time because the Ronda Rousey and everything to be like in MMA, you know, and so it's so hard, you know, but
it's very hard.
You think you need to be like 100, cause if you try to do like both or, okay, I'm open academy now and competing, you know, it's like your chances to lose are more, you know, than if you just focus on one thing or the other, you know, or like your chances for the academy to do good is less if you're competing too, you know, and everything. So
yeah, this is the mindset I always had, is 100% or nothing. You know, like I'm committed to do it and like be the best, or like I don't do it at all.
Yeah.
You understand? Because that's how I was raised. I was raised to go and be a competitor and be competitive and be the best. Same way as you, like if you're gonna go to MMA, like do it 100% and then try to do your best. You understand? But like you're gonna have different situations, like for example, like how you just said, your dad, like a guy that's older and still competing and like wins a lot and lose sometimes, but like he's so passionate about and so unique too. It's different because like he's so unique the way he is and the way like an older guy that's always competing, always challenging himself. Like it's I think as long as you're very passionate about what you're doing and you become somehow unique too, you know, you're gonna be special. You know, you're gonna be special because when you see him, like he's very unique. Like, it's really hard to go there and say, look, there's like 10 other guys like him. No, like, there is not. You understand? The guy's like always trying himself in every competition, like much older like than all the guys. Like he was doing adult until like a couple years ago, and it's awesome. You know, if you can see that this lifestyle makes him happy.
Yeah, that's
you understand, and this is the secret. You know, I think this is the secret. As long as you're doing something that makes you happy, you know, you're doing it right.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think you have like, or you had any rivals like in jiu-jitsu or no? Like any person, not rivals like hating the person, but any person that would make you feel like different when you're fighting. Like I feel like every athlete like has that, you know, like a person that maybe like the person was not better than you, but they would like challenge you mentally, or they would like somehow make you get frustrated during the fight.
I think like maybe like three people. One, the first, like Michelle Nicolini, because I started fighting her when I was purple belt and she was black, and like
she was more experienced than you.
Yeah, you know, and because it was the Abu Dhabi trials, everything, there was purple, brown, and black together, you know. So that's when I started to have like my experiences with her, but it wasn't like, for me it was never like rivalry, but I wanted to like I started to learn, and okay, like purple belt, she did like toe hold, like fast, 2 minutes, you know, I tap like you know, but it made me like learn the toe holds, and like today's my favorite position, you know, like I do it all the time. And so like I think out of everyone, she's the one that like made me become the best, like Mackenzie competing, you know, like to make my style and everything. She like helped form me, because I was trying to beat her, you know, like brown belt, I fought her again, you know, and then I was like trying to be like a better Michelle, you know. So
yeah, I think that's what happened with my brother and Cobrinha, because like for us was like we were purple belts and brown belts, and Bruno was training to compete against Cobrinha. So we were basically helping and trying to emulate. Like the fight was always like thinking about the person and stuff. And then it became the time that was my brother's turn to fight against him. And then like it was the same thing in the beginning, like felt kind of like the pressure of like fighting someone with much more experience, like older, and like
that you used to watch.
It's like I think it's like you have to climb a huge wall when you get to the black belt and you fight the person that wins like many times, like, you know, especially at that time, because like it was like I think like we were like that generation that started young, and then we're like coming up to the black belt, so a lot of expectation, you know. And
people like expecting things from you. And some things like experience is like you can't learn experience, like you can't teach experience, you know. It's just time. Experience is just time. You know?
It's what I tell the students. It's like you can learn techniques, you can listen, like experience from other people, but a lot of this stuff you're gonna have to experience yourself. Like you are gonna have to fail, you're gonna have to go there, like lose tournaments, and then feel really upset and make that thing hurt you, and overcome that, you know.
Yeah.
That's what makes you stronger. And I do think it's really important to have someone that, I know it's like the word rival is not the appropriate word, but like it's like for us it's like the most competitive you can get.
Yes.
You understand? Like, so I think like the fact that my brother had Cobrinha in the division and like was someone that had a higher level than all of the other opponents was something that was really important. Like was like, this is if the standard it's really high, you know, and you have to train so hard to reach that and to pass that, you know. And who were the other two?
Yeah, it was Michelle and like, not for sure, like it's not like easy, but for me it was like Gabby Garcia, you know. But it was more because like I was fighting her all the time, and it's so hard to like stimulate a training, a competition for her, you know. So like I could never like find even the guys to do like the same like techniques and the same like pressure and the same things that she would do, you know. So it's like the only time I could train and like try to correct and like like make a plan for the next tournament was when I fought her in the tournament, you know. And sometimes I never like made to her, you know, because it was only the absolute. So sometimes I like lose before or something, you know. So it's like helped like push me, you know, a lot to go. And sometimes like I'd be in the absolute, and then the girls that'd be on her side, they wouldn't fight because they didn't want to get hurt or something. And so she would come like maybe with one fight, and everyone on this side is everyone fighting because they want to get second place, you know. I said like, man, you know, it was like hard. So every time I fight, Gabby was helping me be like a better athlete, you know, and like a better mindset, and like thinking like, okay, like she beat me, you know, but like this position was a little bit hard for her for like 1 minute, you know. So the next time I'm gonna try to do like this position again, and this one I'll never do again with her because it was too easy, you know, or help her or something, you know. And then I think like the third person was probably like Temi Musumeci, you know. I think like because we were like on the same generation, but she was way below me and I was on there, and so like a lot of people knew of her, you know, but I think like a little bit kind of like I had more attention, you know, being like she would win the same things like I would win, you know, like win her division and I win my division, but more people were like talking about me, I think because like Megaton's daughter and everything. And so then like when we started to fight, like I think I beat her the first time, but it was like brown and black. And then the second time on the black belt, she beat me. So it was like very, from the beginning, like 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, you know? And so I think for her, like the mindset was more like someone my age, you know, like on my, like competing for your space on your generation and everything, you know? Michelle was like rival, you know, but it was like, okay, getting to her, and I knew she was gonna stop soon, you know? Tammy was like the person in my generation that we were like
I think it's like for you knew how competitive it was. And the fact that people didn't know that and they were expecting you to win easy made it more complicated for you, because it was also a mental challenge. It was like, oh, like everybody else is thinking that I'm gonna win easy, but I know this girl is really good and it will be a hard fight. So like there is a huge chance that I'll look bad.
Because up until then, people like notice more like my things, you know, but like us, the competitors, we know who is
we know who's good, even if the person doesn't get a shout out on the social media.
You know,
we know who the like very good competitors are, and it's crazy how like that happens. Like you feel like you fought the same person like during like all belts and then got to the black belt, or like every belt was like someone was like a new division, because like for me was kind of like I fought a lot of people that I fought in the blue belt. I've also fought in the black belt. But like during the purple and brown was like completely different people. How it was for you? Like you got the same people. I feel now they get like the same division through every belt until they get to the black.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Like now I think it's more like that than on our generation, you know. I think like the girls, okay, we had less, you know, so you know a lot of like the same people, but like I feel like me, like every belt or every year was like kind of new people, different people, you know, like, wasn't like so professional, so like the people didn't stay with it too as much, you know.
But I think it's because people now what they call like sandbagging.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's like for example, like I have a student. She's in Mackenzie's division, and then she's always getting second or third, always losing to Mackenzie. When Mackenzie moves up in belt, I'll keep my student in the lower belt, so she gets like the chance to win and get more confident. If I drag her to the same division, the same thing will happen. You understand? So like I think like that used to happen a lot before, because a lot of the guys that we used to beat, like me and my brother were competing always in the same division. A lot of the guys that we used to beat, they would stay behind 1 year, so they could, and they were winning like the next year. You understand? And I feel like now people don't do that. They just want to get to the black belt as fast as possible, especially when they know the kid's good. So even if the kid's getting second or third, like they throw the kid in the next division and then keep competing, which is like, it's good. Like it's a different like strategy to build someone's career, you know. And it's just different. Now I feel like my students, the same people that were fighting the blue, they fight the purple, brown, and probably they will fight more people in the black because the people are there already.
Yeah.
But I think that's the difference between our generation and like their generation now. It's like they strategy like from the professor.
Yeah, but I think it's good that, you know, because like at least when I think about me, like back, like okay, 16, 15, now you see like the kids becoming like more professional, younger, you know. And for us it was like, okay, we were like professional at a young age, you know, but like me 15, 16 I was fighting like the junior, like juvenile, you know, 15, but now it's 16, 17 and back then just your parents sign and it's okay.
For me it was the same thing. I thought when I was
16, 17?
When I was 16, I fought my first year in the adult division.
Yeah, the same, you know. And like not that we're tougher, you know, but like push, you know. And now I feel like the kids like younger, 15 and everything, like they're more professional and everything. But I get like nervous that they're gonna get like when they get to the adult division, like 18 and 18. Then they could get like dismotivated because they start to and like they lose sometimes, you know, because they fight like I don't know, you know, they're used to fighting the people the same, you know. And us, we were like forced to fight like people stronger and everything, and like you have to be like a little bit more technique because the people are strong. And so like if we lose, it was like okay, you know. But now I feel like I was like nervous, like oh, like they did so good at the kids, you know, because maybe they take it serious and the other kids are just doing for like fun, you know, and they're like doing good. And then when they start to do like adult division, they lose a couple times in the beginning, you know, like they have everything to win, you know, but maybe the first couple tournaments and then they get sad or something, you know. So I think like it's very much like difference between the generations and how they have like different opportunities and everything.
Yeah, I feel like the younger you start, the younger you're gonna want to stop. Because like for me, like a lot of people say like, oh, like why you guys started younger, but like I started when I was 12. Like at that generation, like you didn't see a lot of people starting as a kid, and I feel like these kids are all starting at 5 or 4. Like when they get to the black belt and they start winning, like they're gonna be young, and like if they win fast, they're gonna feel that like
fulfilled.
And like you know, and they're gonna be like 25, 26, 27. They're gonna be like, I'm done. I need a new challenge. You know, and people don't understand that. They compare you with other people. Like a lot of the good guys that is still competing. Like for example, Cobrin was competing until like 2 years ago, but he got to the black belt. I was there when he got to the black belt, and he got to the black belt. I think he was 27 years old. I got to the black belt when I was 20. My brother was 19. You understand? So like, I did compete for like 7 years, like in the black belt before I stopped. And like people, every person is different, and like that's why it's so hard to compare and create a rule or when to stop or like how, like when it's good enough, because every person like is different.
And every generation, and I'm thinking like, man, how it's gonna be like 10 years from now? You know, it's gonna be even different.
Do you think fighting like a girl is an insult or a compliment?
Man, I don't know. I think like it's both, no? Like
I
depends.
know. That's my question.
I think it just depends, you know, like how they.
If I tell you, you fight like a girl, is it bad or good?
No, if you say it like that, you're gonna think it's bad, you know?
Why?
Like, because you say like, make the face like, I fight like a girl, you know?
Maybe it's good.
If it's like, man, you fight like a girl, like, see the expression is different, you know? No, but I think like, it's hard, no, because like, I think that girls should like, we deserve, you know, like the same amount of money and everything. Like, I'm looking for the girls to have like, the value higher, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, I'm not like a feminist, you know? Like, I'm very like aware that we have less girls, you know, than the guys. The same, like, let's say like the UFC, MMA, you know, and Jiu Jitsu, like, how are the girls gonna ask for the same amount of money, you know, like as the guys, and we do like less, 1 fight, 2 fights, you know? And because we have less girls, the talent is lower, you know?
Or you have the last quantity, like of like in a guy bracket you get like 10 guys that have the chance to win. In a girls bracket you get like 4 that have the chance to win. Like,
you know, and so like I think like, man, okay, if the guy's getting 10,000, the girls 1,000, like that's a big difference, you know. But I think like we're growing, you know.
I think the way IBJJF is doing now, it's fair. Like they put a number. Did you see it?
Yeah.
They put a number of like, if your division has like this many people, you get this much money. If there's many people, because then it's fair. I thought it was really smart. When I saw, I was like, there's no way to complain. You know, like if your division is bigger, then you deserve more money because we all know that it's harder to win. But if the female division has the same amount of people, it's fair. Because I feel like we work the same. Like this is a question just because I saw a commercial like always like watch on YouTube. It's really cool. And they ask a lot of older people like women under 20s and 30s like punch like a girl or kick like a girl, and they always do like really weak in the and stuff, and then switched and they ask the same questions to little girls that are like 7, 8, 10 years old, and then say like throw like a girl, and then she tries really hard, and then like punch like a girl and she's punching really hard. And I think a lot of like the society like makes you think that like a girl is a bad thing, you know, and like I feel like especially now being like a dad and like having a daughter, like, and like I'm very like as a professor too, like you start seeing that, man, like we are all the same. We all like the only thing that separates us is like how our dreams, you know, like how bad you want your dream to happen. You understand? I'm pretty sure like you work much harder than a lot of guys. You understand? And like you deserve to shine much more than a lot of guys. And I have a lot of girls that work much harder than a lot of guys. And I want my daughter to grow with this idea of like, I know that using like fighting like a girl is just like because it became kind of like an insult, like you said. But like I want them to understand that, because like I feel like I'm the same way you said I'm not feminist. Like I feel like I'm always trying to look to the like things as fair as possible. That's why I said like IBJJF did a good job. You know, like what is fair, it's fair. You understand? And I do think like people should always have the same like opportunities, you know, to shine, to like you having like I don't agree when you don't have a division, like you don't have like you have a tournament and then it's only for guys. You know, I don't like that. I think like you should have like for guys and for girls, because like you have like girls in the sport too. You understand it? It's growing.
Or the GP is just for heavyweights.
Yeah.
They don't have lightweights.
I think it should always be fair. You understand that I know how media works, and I know how like people are always like trying to see try to do what sells. You understand? But I want my daughter to have this image of she's a girl, and I don't know, the way it was like before, and the way like people like I think especially like older generations were taught like it's like a girl needs a guy to protect her, you know, like you're looking for a security guard, you know. But like should not be like this. I don't want my daughter to have like this this urge to like find like a boyfriend or like a husband to protect her. I mean, she should be able to protect herself. She should be able to speak up, you know, and say the things and say the things that she wants. I think that's what like, and I do think like Jiu-Jitsu helps a lot with that because in my opinion, when you grow up in an environment, especially in a competitive environment, and for a girl that's like with like it's comfortable with a lot of guys around her, you create an environment where the girl will feel comfortable speaking up, you know, and like I think that's why like a girl like you feel comfortable, like you're talking and you feel comfortable. A lot of girls when like they don't have an environment like this, I think sport help a lot with that. Yeah. You know, like when they grow up like locked inside of their home, what happens is that they become they don't have the voice to speak up, and that's when I think girls get trapped in like abusive relationships and this kind of stuff, and they can't get out. You understand? I think like when a girl is like doing sports like this, I think they learn how to somehow become a leader. Even if it's like you are your own leader, you understand? You lead your own path, you know. But like you become a leader of your own life, you know. And I think it's really important. And this is the main thing that I want, like, for my daughter. I want her to. I don't care if she's gonna love Jiu-Jitsu or not, if she's gonna become a world champion or not, like. But I want her to have the qualities that I see in the girls that train. You know, like this kind of like builds the personality. You know, you become someone like that. Look, if I don't like something, I will tell you. Look, I don't like that. Don't do that. You understand? Or like, like that's not how I think. I think this way. You understand? I think being able to speak up like this is gonna change their whole lives. You know, and I think that's the most important. When I think about her training, this is like building the character is the most important for me. I know it sounds like just like trying to sell something, but we know how true it is. We know like I have a lot of athletes there, like a lot of girls, and I know the difference. You know, like especially comparing like girls in school and comparing to the athletes, like you know, the girls, like I think they have like a much stronger voice and like they're much more confident and comfortable, you know, in any environment, you know, because we were training to like to be in stressful environments, you know. So like you're training yourself to be under pressure all the time, so you know how to do it that much better.
And like sport, especially like Jiu-Jitsu, that's like a guy-based, more man-based, like main popular sport, you know. It's like, it's really different, the idea that the women have, that we have of ourselves, and that the people have of women, you know. Because like I think in the school and everything, like, okay, all the girls like looking to be like beautiful, you know. All the girls like want to be like pretty and popular and everything. And in Jiu-Jitsu, for example, it's kind of like opposite, you know, like of course everyone is like their own style, you know, like most of the girls like we want to like not have our hair broke all the time in the training, you know, and everything. But like you see the girls, they get a little bit like kind of
is this strength that becomes like the build, right? Like you're like when the girl is tough, when the girl is like they say like they have a lot of heart. It becomes a quality that
they're looking for. Like the girls kind of get mad when the guys say like oh they won because they have a lot of followers because they're pretty, you know. Like in Jiu-Jitsu, the girls like don't like when they get attention just for the looks, you know, like they say like, man, why don't they look at my submissions, you know, like, and so the girl, like what the girls look for in Jiu-Jitsu, you know, and I think a lot of sports is like that the people look at their like hard work and everything, you know, and like in the school, like when they're not so much into sports, you know, like of course not
everybody,
but like all the girls want to be like, they want the attention for like pretty these things.
So just like just your body and your image.
And like in the sport, we look, like when they comment, you're like, oh, they're just famous because they like pretty. Oh, they just get sponsors because they're pretty. Like the girls get mad, you know. Like you see the character is different.
As a parent, that's the thing that I want the most. Is like, I don't want. It's every girl, every guy, like everybody wants to be like handsome or pretty. Like I think this is normal, you know.
Yeah, like
we
you
all
take care of your little like
take care of yourself. It's fine, but I think like there are things that are more important than that. And then like when you are in sport, like people throw that on your face all the time. Like it doesn't matter if you're pretty, if you're not like a hard worker, if you're not like it's not gonna take you anywhere. You understand? Yeah. So like I think it's important. Like that's why I feel like I want my daughter to understand that, because like being pretty is nothing compared to like being a hard worker, being like you know, like determined, you know, like things that will actually like move you forward in life. Yeah. You know, it's like you know, like
when I think people like, oh man, Mackenzie just have those opportunities because she's like pretty or something. I think like, man, how much like I worked hard, like I won like world championships, like blue belt, purple belt, brown. Like man, I worked so much. So when they say like, oh, you just have that because of that, you know, like you get like frustrated, you know, and it's like.
That's an insult. I think like that's an insult when you say like, oh, it's just because of this. Yeah. That people shouldn't never do that, because then like they're like just like I don't know, like they're just ignoring all your work. Yeah. You understand? And that's not fair. You know, like there's this like.
I think the sports like help so much, Jiu Jitsu. So it's like, it's a mix, you know, like when they say fight like a girl, you see like, okay, fight good. And then sometimes they say like, man, what do you say?
Yeah, I just said that because of the commercial, and like was very interesting for me when I saw the difference. And I know how it works. Like it's funny, but I know how it works. But like I think like it changed, a lot of things changed to me when I became a father, you know, like and you have a little girl and you start worrying about how she's gonna think in the future, you know, like I look at her and I was like, oh, I want her to have these qualities, or I want her to think like this, you know. It changed a lot, like, because before you kind of like don't care, you know, especially being a guy, you're like, whatever, you know, like for me it doesn't matter, like fighting like a girl, it's an insult, or like, but like I want my daughter to be sure of like what she thinks, you understand, and I think this is something that Jiu Jitsu really helps, and I see that. I see every day as a professor. I see the quality of the girls that train, like especially the competitors that throw themselves in that situation where they're being like compared and they're being like exposed, like, and you become so strong after that, like for life. For sure,
definitely, everything, all situations, you know.
Which one's harder, competing in MMA or Jiu Jitsu? I have a lot of people that told me, look, competing in Jiu-Jitsu, it's harder because you get a lot of fights and you build that hype that like people like you can't lose, especially people that go from Jiu-Jitsu, a very good career in Jiu-Jitsu, into MMA. Which one's more, it's like harder for you, the fight, not the process?
I think like I agree. I think Jiu-Jitsu is harder, you know? Because the same like, you have to be like the best Mackenzie, like on the tournament, you know, because you fight so many different people with different styles, you know, like MMA, like I train for one person, you know, and it's like, and I think because I'm a Jiu-Jitsu person, there's not like so high level Jiu-Jitsu in MMA, you know, so it's like I have a big advantage, you know. Of course, like a punch can hurt, you know, and it hurts and can knock out and everything. But I think like in everything Jiu-Jitsu is harder. Like to compete in Jiu-Jitsu is harder, you know, like let's say you fight the absolute, you know, and the absolute is before the weight. So you lose to the girl in the absolute. Then you fight the girl in the weight class, you know, and now she's confident, you know, to fight you in the weight class because she just beat you, you know, and like that, the confidence is a big thing in fighting, you know. In MMA, the maximum that you fight someone maybe is 3 times, like one, and then they do another third fight.
It's not interesting anymore.
Jiu-Jitsu, you fight the same person like 1 year, you can fight them like 10 times, 12 times, you know. It's
my brother has people that he fought like 13, 14 times. Like, it's like, crazy. Right?
And so like if they start to grow that confidence, like, you know, like and so it's like a big like mind challenge and everything. Like you can't just fight for one person, like all the, you know, their weaknesses and everything. You need to fight, okay, if they make it to the finals, you know, and then okay, until make the final, you need to fight these people, you know. So you just have to be like the best that you are, you know, like to pass, to guard, to everything, you know.
And it becomes almost like training because you know the person so much because you always compete against them that even if your level is higher, it becomes like a big challenge because the person is already comfortable against you.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you think like Jiu-Jitsu shaped you like in your character and stuff? What do you think are like the things that you feel that like I would not be, or I would not have this mindset, or I would not be who I am if it was not Jiu-Jitsu? Imagine like if you were like you took like a different path and you became a doctor, for example.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think like Jiu-Jitsu changed in your life and changed in your like character that like look like I do this or I think like that just because of Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, because like we have things that are like your personality, right? Like that is born, like since I'm born I always like I'm Aries, you know? Mm-hmm. So my personality is that I don't think too much before I say something, or before if I get angry, you know, I don't think like, okay, calm. I'd like, okay, stop talking to me, you know, and then I think like, oh man, I shouldn't do that, you know, that's my personality. But things like that I feel like make my character and who I am, because Jiu-Jitsu is like more because like competition, you know, competing, even competing.
Competing like change, so you think like that, it just like transforms you.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like competing made me like good. Some people, they don't do good in competition, you know. I'm the person like on the training, I like lose the training, you know, like Angelica like kills me on the training all the time, like you know, all the time. And then I go to the tournament and like I submit all the fights, you know, because I think from competing since I'm like 6 years old, and growing and learning like the pressure and how to fight under pressure. And even like it's not big, but Megaton's daughter, like since I'm blue belt, you know, like, you know, Gracie Meg was like looking at my fights, you know, like, so I had like that pressure, and I think that like formed how I am today to do things under pressure, you know, like I grow on that situation, you know, like I don't like freeze, you know. For me, when they have like light, the big events, like, or big situations, that's when I like and perform better, or can think better and do things like that.
And that's what I was talking about, because like I think this is the best quality that you can get, you know, from sports, like being able to react under pressure, you know, and like because like when people are not used to that, they shut down. What they do is they run away. Yeah. You know, and that's what happens when like with like everybody, not just women, but like everybody, when like they are like in a situation like, or in a relationship that they don't feel comfortable, they don't know what to do. They're trapped, you know. And a person that knows how to react under pressure, they think and they solve the problem. You know, and I think this is the best quality that you can get, like you just said, and this is exactly what I see, and I want for my daughter so bad. I was like, since she started training, this is the thing that I was like, once she gets that, and she has, I know it takes a long time to build that, because like you said, it's building the character.
Since I'm like 6, you know, and I'm also like, competing all the time, like every weekend, you know, every month, you know, having competition, and I think that builds in.
But this is so much more important than winning any gold medal, you know? Because the gold medal, you're gonna like, it's the moment, you know, like it's a memory, it's cool, you're gonna tell the people that you love, but like the thing that really changed you, the thing that really changed you is the ability that you got from the training, from the competition, for the many times you got really upset because you lost and you knew you would have to face the same challenge like 2 weeks later, you know. And I think like that's why I really like the competition. Like, I hate the competition environment, you know, because of all this stress, but I really think this is the situation that makes you grow the most.
And I think like also too, the value, like to know your value, you know, like Jiu-Jitsu for me taught me a lot that, I don't know if like maybe because the girl, but to be a girl, you know, but I think for guys too, you know, like it helps you to learn your value, you know, like from like purple belt, I start to like teach seminars with my dad and everything. I start to see like the value, you know, and like I start to go like, okay, brown belt, I did seminars, and the guys would be like, oh, but someone like, I won't say like the name, but like, they're multiple world champion and they asking for like less money than you know? And I still like, man, like, okay, then ask her, you know? But for me, like, I think that my value is more than that, you know? And I took that like on everything, like sponsorships and everything, like, not just for me, but trying to do it for the future generation, you know? Like, if I'm Mackenzie who has like world championship titles, how are the other girls gonna ask for, you know, money and ask for enough, you know? So like, if they ask, okay, she asked for a lot of money, you know, or something, like, man, that's my price, you know? And I'm doing that because I want the future to be able to ask for more, you know? Because if I ask for a little, then the next one will ask for a little, you know? So I do that in everything, like with relationships, everything. Sometimes like my boyfriends, you know, like, man, you're too like orgulhosa. And they so proud, like you're too pride, you know? Like, no, it's not pride, you know? Like, it's just that I know like what I deserve, you know, and I know like what they deserve, you know, and everything. So it's, you know what I mean? Like,
I think this is the kind of confidence that you get from Jiu Jitsu, and you need. It's the same thing. Like, I think I learned a lot from Andre too, because I remember like many times as a purple belt or brown belt, I didn't have a lot of experience, and I would be asking like, "Oh, you think this is good or not?" And then he would say that he was like, "Oh, like I don't think this is good," because they know that you're gonna become a black belt world champion. Like these people, like they sponsors or these people that want something, like they know. So like they have like not second intentions, but they're already thinking about the future, you know. And like you're just thinking about yourself now. But like when you're coming up like this, and you need to think about yourself always as like the best you can be. You understand? And I feel like I learned that a lot too. That was like a big lesson for me, because I get that all the time too. Like, oh, someone charged like cheaper and stuff. I was like, oh, I don't even like. I try to ignore that. I don't find that, because like, you know, like I think that's the most disrespectful thing that you can do to someone. It's just like argue their price. You know, if that's how much they said, that's how much it is. You understand? If you say less, you're just saying that they're worth less. You understand? So you want or you don't want. You understand? It's like there's no negotiation, because if you negotiate that, like you're gonna make the person upset. You understand? And I learned that young too. I learned as a purple belt, and was something that was really important for me, because like now, like I'm very, very like I have really strong like confidence like in how much I'm worth to, you know. It's important. Like I think like I try to teach the same to my students, and like every generation they need to learn more, because the more opportunities, I think the more you need to know your value, you know, because you're gonna have more people like trying to negotiate. You know, oh, that big person wants less, or it becomes like it becomes a situation where like they're just like putting one athlete against the other. You understand?
Sponsorship, you know, like, oh, someone says, oh, my sponsorship is this much, you know, and you think like, man, maybe I'm asking too much, you know, because like, no, if you think like this is how much you know, like, and it's something that I don't know, like if doctors and everything, if they have that. I don't know how, if the other jobs have that, you know, where they need to like sell themselves, you know, and things like that. You know, I'm sure like they accept offers to work at some place and things like that. But I think that's like such a big thing that in my life and like relationship and everything, like to have your own value and to like be confident in your value.
I think as long as you know you're the best, or you're working to be the best, you should always have like a high price. You know, because like if you don't give the right value to yourself, nobody else is going to give.
Exactly.